What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and this video I want to talk about what Sucker Punch could make next in terms of, obviously, brand new games. Ghost of Tsushima is out. It is definitely a problem with me in the past, always looking kind of to the future instead of kind of just accepting and kind of living through what we've been given in the present. I'm loving Ghost of Tsushima. It's easily one of my favorite games of this year, and as I've said in past videos, I'm majorly impressed at just how good this game is. And to be honest with you, that kind of comes into play when we talk about what does Sucker Punch do next, because yesterday we talked about DLC. Could Ghost of Tsushima have DLC? And really, you look at the future. Okay, there could probably will be, right, a PS5 version. Maybe DLC gets included in Ghost of Tsushima, but what happens after that? Well, really, there's a couple different options, and if you guys like this video, by the way, I want to talk about each option in more kind of detail. Okay, in my mind, there's two, I think, actually, let's say three. There's three legitimate options, and then there's a fourth one kind of just for fun. So let's go through the four, and again, these are kind of just going to be me saying them, me kind of talking about how they could work, and if they would do it, and then if you guys like it, I'll make a video specifically on each of these. So the first one is Ghost of Tsushima 2. Now, this game, again, I think is a major surprise in terms of just how good it is. I think you're seeing it around the internet that it's a lot of people's game of the year. It's some of people's favorite, like, PlayStation exclusive game. It's one of the better open world games. All of these really nice things. And again, what I normally say with games like this, they put a lot of assets. There's a lot of things that basically will probably only work with this kind of game. In fact, Sucker Punch even talked about how they had to drop pretty much all of the stuff they learned and had been doing basically with Infamous to do Ghost of Tsushima, right? So the question is, if you do a Ghost of Tsushima 2, you can reuse a lot of the assets you use with this one. You look at even like Horizon. Why can they do Forbidden West a little bit faster? Why will it probably feel a little similar? Well, it's because they already pretty much built it up, right, with Horizon. Now they kind of just have to update, obviously bring it up to PS5 quality. There's obviously make some improvements, make some changes, and by, again, I mean, they spent 4 years by the time we get Forbidden West, so it's definitely been long enough, but the point still stands. Would Sucker Punch want to basically restart from scratch again, right? They already have this model in place. Now, maybe you could do a different open world game, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but Ghost of Tsushima 2, obviously they were drawn to this feudal Japan, samurai kind of story. They could continue it. They could do something different. It maybe not necessarily would be Ghost of Tsushima 2, maybe a subtitle, who knows? But honestly, I think it's as just it really could be something, what I mean? Like, you could put up there with, well, this seems like something that could possibly happen just as much as any of these other suggestions I'm about to give. And I think people loving it, truly loving it, saying all of the nice things, getting the review scores, it's selling extremely well. Honestly, I think that only helps because then they look at it and they say, if this game bombed, let's say, then they could have probably said, or they would have probably said, all right, we got it. Like, we kind of have to change because of all this. Now they could look at it in the reverse and say, you know what? People really like this. Why don't we do more? We already kind of love this moment in time with this feudal Japan story. We love what we did with this game. We could obviously improve on it and make the necessary changes in the positive direction for the next game. So why not just do it, right? So Ghost of Tsushima 2, or a subtitle or a spin-off kind of game, whatever you want to say, that is option number one. Second option, and one that I probably will make a video on specifically, I actually did make a video on it, I believe like last summer, is Infamous 3, or a brand new Infamous game. This is one that I think I've been petitioning for a very long time, even before Ghost of Tsushima. One of the things, again, I think I even said in that video, again, this is like a year plus, old. I'm pretty sure I said, I want them to do Infamous if Ghost of Tsushima fails. So if Ghost of Tsushima just isn't good, why not go back to something that you love making, that you've made before, that you've had success with, that's a recognizable brand, all these kind of things. Now, again, because of what's happened, and again, this is kind of my shortened version. I want to talk about it again in a video specifically for it. But again, those kind of ideas that I had, or like the reasoning why you would get to an Infamous, I don't think that's going to happen, right? Again, this game is selling well. This game is, being received well. People are loving it. All these different things. There really isn't a reason to kind of go back to Infamous, especially with Second Son, again, First Light, that were probably the least looked upon, right, Infamous games. So yes, there is definitely things to go back to that I do want them to go back. I would prefer an Infamous 3, bring back Cole somehow, all this kind of stuff. And I think maybe one day we will get that, or we will get a return to Infamous, maybe just not by Sucker Punch. They could easily do a kind of like what Naughty Dog and Sony are doing with Uncharted, where they did their story, and then it seems like Sony still wants to make Uncharted, but Naughty Dog isn't going to do it, so they just give it to a new studio. Very possible, and even maybe likely, that happens with Infamous as well. But Infamous, again, I mean, it's kind of what they're known for. Obviously, Sly Cooper before then, but it's kind of what they're known for. They've had a massive amount of success in the past with it. Again, Ghost of Tsushima didn't fail, so it's not like they kind of have to retreat, again, like that, using that kind of phrase. It's not like they have to retreat to something they feel comfortable with and has worked before. It's not like that. However, again, you could still make the argument that maybe they want to go back to it. Maybe this gives them more confidence in trying different things with Infamous. Maybe people kind of say, you know what, Sucker Punch is back up there, and which I do think is true, by the way, as an elite developer. Like, these guys are one of the top developers out there. Why not let them try out Infamous one more time? You know what I mean? So something like that, I think it definitely is possible. I would probably say it's I don't think it's as likely as a Ghost of Tsushima 2 or continuing this one, but I do think it's definitely a possibility. Third option is a brand new game. Now, yes, this is kind of a cop-out answer, but you already see they had pitched the idea of like the Three Musketeers. They were thinking about doing a Pirates game. I mean, the Pirates one is the big one for me. I would love to see a world like Ghost of Tsushima. If they were to do that, but they were to have pirates with all the stuff that you can think of with pirates. Look, one of my dreams in a game is to get a game completely like Pirates of the Caribbean, not like a rip-off of the movie or like a movie tie-in game, but literally like, I guess, Sea and Thieves, Skull and Bones, kind of all those things mixed together, where you are a pirate, you do all these side quests, you do all these main quests, you make decisions, you upgrade this, you learn your sword fighting, you learn your gunplay, you can go on ships and all of this different stuff, which, to be honest with you, Ghost of Tsushima already has a lot of that. You know what I mean? So if they wanted to kind of do a blend of what, even though I was talking about with Ghost of Tsushima, so again, they may not want to throw out all the stuff that they learned with a game like this. And no, pirates do not fight the same way as samurai do, but they already are familiar with sword combat. And I mean, that is just one thing. I get that. But at the same time, this world and how they built it does probably transition pretty darn well, where I could see a quick-ish turnaround to a pirate game relatively fast. Now, again, that's just kind of my want, maybe a different open world altogether. But again, kind of the point I'm trying to drive through with this, this list is, or this one specifically is, if they don't want to abandon all the stuff they've learned, all the assets, all the technology, all the stuff they've put, all the systems that they put together with Ghost of Tsushima, if they don't want to drop that, but they don't want to continue the story or do a spin-off or do this, do that, they could just make a brand new world, but use a lot of the stuff that they've learned with Ghost of Tsushima to do it. Now, my personal one would be that Pirates game. Again, they already pitched it. They already were thinking about doing it, but they ended up settling, again, on Ghost of Tsushima as their final idea, their final, product they wanted to make, which is fine. And again, I love what we got, but now I want to see, I really do, I want to see a Pirates game made by them next. But again, that is definitely an option as well. Could be the highest one, but again, that's kind of for you guys to decide. I want you guys to let me know which one of these seems like the most realistic in the comments. Final one, this is literally just for fun. I don't really expect this. Mainly, I don't expect this from them. Is Sly Cooper, a remake / I guess a collection / a brand new Sly. Now this again is kind of like a personal want for me. I want Sly to return. I really actually want a Sly Cooper remake. I think that's the best chance we have at getting a Sly 5. I think that's literally the best thing that can possibly happen, because you have to do that pulse test. You have to say, hey, do people still like Sly Cooper now? I think the answer is yes. I think the answer has always been yes. We really shouldn't need to remake the games to test the waters on that, but I feel like that's kind of the way the gaming industry works right now, right? So, I mean, sign me up for a Sly Cooper remake. I do think, this is a very bold prediction, it's one I've ran with for quite some time, I do think we will get a Sly Cooper remake on the PS5. I think at some point, some studio out there will, and it doesn't even have to be Sony owned, right? Because Sony could give them, say, okay, we want you to do this. I think there will be some sort of collection / remaster / remake of Sly Cooper on the PS5 to try and test out, do people still like this? He's a recognizable character, Sly. He's a recognizable kind of like brand, you know what I mean? Now, again, Sucker Punch, kind of just throwing this in there just for laughs. They started it. They created it. They know them best. They made the best, I believe, 2 games. In my opinion, Sly 2 and Sly 3 are my favorites. So they've definitely done it. Now, it's been a very long time, and obviously they've moved so far, like, you know, not necessarily in the complete opposite direction, but obviously doing Infamous, doing Ghost of Tsushima now. I mean, they couldn't really be farther away from what they did when they were, you know, making Sly, right? So I really don't know if Sly is a game that you could expect Sucker Punch to return to. Again, kind of even like Naughty Dog with, I mean, actually, well, a thing is, because I was going to say Naughty Dog with Uncharted, I could also say Naughty Dog with Jak and Daxter, but even that, there is reason to kind of hope maybe. If you're in the Sly Cooper fan club, okay, and you want Sucker Punch to do it, remember, after Uncharted, when they were going to work on, Naughty Dog was going to work on The Last of Us, remember, they pitched Jak and Daxter, and they had a bunch of concept, and they were ready to go. That was definitely, Jak and Daxter 4 was definitely an option for them to make after Uncharted 3, to do like a kind of return to it instead of The Last of Us, and then they settled on The Last of Us idea. So, yes, Uncharted was so far away from what they did in the past, but they were still willing, possibly willing, to go back. So again, if you're part of the Sly Cooper fan club, which I would like to join, by the way, I do think it is possible. It's very, very unlikely in my opinion, but I think it is possible that maybe they return in some way. Maybe they have 2 studios in there, you know what I mean? Maybe Sucker Punch has grown to where it's 2 teams. Maybe they could make a remake while making their next big game. You know, we really don't know, but I hope for that one, although I do think in general, that's one that just a different developer altogether could do, and I wouldn't really be upset about it. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? What is going to be Sucker Punch's next game? What do you think are the likelihood of the 4 options I gave? And again, if you guys like this, if this does well, if you guys even just ask me in the comments, I'm definitely up for it. I will make more videos talking about the specifics. I do want to make one specifically on Infamous. I would love to make some on Sly, you know, a brand new game, a Ghost of Tsushima 2. I would love to do all those videos. So let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, make sure you guys subscribe to this YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And thank you so much for watching, guys. I truly appreciate it. More videos like this, talking about Ghost of Tsushima, talking about the future of Sucker Punch, coming to you guys in the next couple days. And I hope to see you guys there.